Hi friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Kate and in today's video we are going to be sewing our block number 5 of our Flowing Quilt Along. Yes, this is block number 5. If you've not been sewing your block all this time, don't forget you can always go back and watch the previous video that I've made for this sew along. With that said, this is the block that we are going to be sewing today. It's our block number 5 and they are calling this block Sweet as Sunny Huckle block. If you've been following me for a little bit, you know that I'm sewing mine in Tula pink fabric. Everything that I'm using for this sew along is going to come from my stash. Let me go on ahead and start sewing and show you step by step of how I am making the block, and I am also making substitution on some of the fabric. Let's go on ahead and sew this month's block. Here we go. This is what our block number 5 of our Flowing Quilt Along looks like. But I'm going to make some minor changes to my block. If you've not made your block yet, maybe this will help you. Instead of making this flying geese in the middle right here on all 4, I am opting to fuzzy cut this piece right here, and I have 4 of them. I'm going to put it right here in the middle. Instead of it being yellow, obviously, you can see right here that it's not yellow. And my Tula pink color motif for this month is going to be this one, and this is my background. If you go back to the printout that I've been showing from block number 1 all the way to the most recent on block number 4, you will see that there's a printout from Fatquartershop that lets you kind of substitute your fabric as to whatever fabric line you're using, or even if you're sewing from your stash. You can kind of see what they're working with and look at all the printout to help you with your fabric choices. So these are all half square triangle here. What I'm going to do to make this one right here, I'm just going to sew 8 half square triangle at a time for this, and this. For this 2, we need 16, and for this half square triangle right here, we need 16 of the same. With that said, let's go on ahead and start piecing. The first thing I'm going to do is draw a line horizontally like this, and then just come over here. Oh, and then this is air erasable pen. This was what we got from the from the August So Simpler box, and I'm trying it out to see how I like it. So I'm just gonna make the line ahead of time on this other one right here. And I'm gonna do it on all 4 since we need to make 4 sets of HST. But I'm just showing you what my processes are. So I'm just gonna draw a line here. What I'm gonna do is just sew a 1/4 inch away from here and a 1/4 inch away from here. So now what I'm doing is just trimming this down on the side that doesn't have a marking, because it's easier for me to cut here where I have the markings already. So I'm just gonna bring it around, and I'm gonna go to my 6 1/4 line. Okay, so now all my half square triangles are nice and sewn. I'm just going to press them open like this, and then I will press them, then I will trim it down. On this half square triangle, they are written on at a weird side, so I can't really use the Perfect Slightest trimmer ruler to do this. So I am going to use a traditional ruler to do this. So I'm just gonna press my HST open like this. I'm gonna do it to all 32. I'm gonna just press them all open like what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna repeat the process to all of the HST just like this. The hardest part on making this block is trimming down your HST to where they're supposed to be. Now that they're all pressed, I'm just gonna bring my ruler here, and I'm going to trim this the traditional way. This is technically how you are supposed to square up your HST. The reason why I don't do that is because it takes literally forever versus using that ruler. That ruler is just a nice to have. I'm gonna trim down all of the HST just like this, and I'm gonna repeat the process to all of them. And then when I am done, we will continue sewing our block. I'm just gonna take my second piece. We're gonna need to make 2 sets of this and 2 sets of the other one because we are making 8 at a time. I'm just gonna put it together like this. Again, I'm gonna repeat what I just did. I'm gonna pin on either sides like this, so that way my fabric doesn't shift while I'm sewing. And I'm going to repeat the process here, and I'm gonna sew. What we're going to do now, we're going to bring back our mat, and then I'm just going to cut down the middle. So I'm just going to cut down straight down the middle where there's no marking first, and then I'll go back and cut where there's marking. Just like that. And I'm going to place this right in the middle, and I'm going to cut. So this will give me 8 at a time half square triangles. So now I have my 8 half square triangle. What I'm going to do now is finger press it just like this. I'm just going to bring my iron, and I'm just going to give it some heat, and then I will trim it down. All right, so now that this is done, I'm just going to trim it down to the size that it needs to be. Like I said earlier, you would need your regular ruler to do this. I'm just going to trim it down, and we will put this block together. Square it up and then cut. This process is a lot of trimming down the HST. Doing it this traditional way takes a longer bit of time than the convenient HST ruler that I have. But you know what? If you don't have it, just make do with what you have. It works, just that it takes a little bit of time. That's my only thing. And that's why purchasing that ruler for me was very well worth the purchase. So now I have both set A and set B all completed. For both of these, we need 16 here and we need 16 here. And if you're making the HST that goes in the middle here and then you're not cutting out an extra fabric, you will need additional HST to do that. With that said, I have all of mine sewn and ready to go. So what we have to do now is prepare our block. So we're going to assemble our block and we're going to put them together. And then we're going to also use this right here. I'm going to start with this one right here. I'm going to put this over here. It doesn't really matter. So right here are my little pieces. This is what they look like right here. So I'm going to bring one of my little focal point animal piece. I'm going to put it in the middle, and then I'm going to bring my HST around. I'm going to set it up just like this first, and then I'm going to look at it to make sure they're orienting the way they're supposed to be orienting. Like I'm just laying it right down like this for now, just to make sure that I have all I need. So what I'm going to do is double check and make sure that I have everything going the right direction. Okay. Because this block is easy, but it's also easy to mess up. And I don't want to do that because I don't want to rip anything out and have to sew it all over again. I will be upset with myself. Oh, this is what our piece is going to look like. We're going to need to make 4 of this. And this is what mine looks like right now. I think this looks so pretty. All right, so what I'm going to do is just sew these ones first. I'm going to sew the top first, and I'll come back and sew the rest because it's so easy to mess up here. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to sew it like this. All right, come back. I'm gonna press open, put this back, and I'm gonna come back here and I'm going to sew. So with this one, I'm gonna sew like this. So I'm just gonna press this open. It doesn't really matter how you press in this case because you're not going to be meeting any points in this segment. But for me, I guess since it is HST, I much rather press open because it can be bulky sometimes. And so this part is done. So what I'm going to do now is just sew these together and then I'll press. There's no need to pin because no points are meeting. And then for this one, I'm going to press inward like this. And I'm going to bring this, I'm going to put it like this, and I'm going to sew. So like I said, we're going to press this inward like so. And I'm going to bring this back. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to sew it to the end. I'm going to chain piece it just like this. And then bring the other piece, sew this on. So what I'm going to do now is just press my pieces. So I'm just going to press my piece like this. All right. And I am going to double check before I sew everything together to make sure that I am not facing the wrong direction in my pieces. So what I'm going to do now is join this together and join this together. And we're going to repeat this process 4 times. Just going to hold on to it. So I'm going to bring this back this way and I'm going to piece. What I'm going to do here is just pin because they're both going opposite direction. So I'm just going to pin it. I'm just going to train it, press my seam open, and then I will go over and give it a little heat with my iron. And the reason why I'm doing that is at the final stage of the block, when we're putting it together, some of this junction will meet. And so I'm trying to prepare for that and press this part open because of that. Because some junction and some seam will still meet at the end. And so it's important to prepare for that part. What I'm gonna do now is put this aside over here. And so I'm gonna bring my next piece, which is this bright color right here. And I'm going to bring my next piece of little animal motif. So I'm gonna bring him over here, and I'm going to, again, place my fabric accordingly. Put it like this, this. So what we're gonna do now is bring our corner pieces like so. So that's gonna be over there. What I'm gonna do now is just piece this guy. For this right here, I'm gonna piece this right here, and I'm gonna chain piece the top over here, just for the sake of time. I'm gonna press open on this side with my fingers, put it like that, and then I'm gonna press open here as well. So what we're gonna do now is sew this top right here and sew this bottom right here. I'm gonna chain piece all of it, and then we will be ready to repeat the rest 2 more times after this. So I've chain pieced this part, and I'm just going to lay it on top like this, and I'm gonna just sew this part. Just like we just did, we're just going to repeat this step 4 times, and that's what we're doing. And if you're doing the inside HST, you will have to sew your HST that goes in here like this, and then you have to sew your side pieces on. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put the top, and I'm just going to pin. So now what I'm gonna do is just sew. All right, so I'm just going to press open, like I said earlier. This part is done. Both of these are done. So we need to make 2 of this, and we have to make 2 more that looks like this. This is our last part. What we're going to do is bring our last animal motif back, and we are going to do the exact same thing we've been doing, okay? We're gonna sew this like this. We're gonna put this like this. So now what I'm gonna do is just piece them. So what I'm gonna do now is bring this top chain piece here and chain piece here. Now that all of our pieces are all facing how they're supposed to be, at least in my eyes they are, what I'm gonna do is just put them together. I'm just gonna pin here, and I'm going to sew. I'm just going to put this together, pin, and repeat the process 4 more times. If you don't like making half square triangles, this block will get you acclimated to the process. So now I have this all nice and done, and I have the pair all nice and done. So we need 2 of this guy, and we also need to make 2 that looks like this. So what we're going to do now is assemble the block. We are not done, so we're gonna bring our board. I have 2 here and 2 over here. So per the pattern, we are going to have the lighter color over here, and then we're going to have this color over here. We're gonna have this color right here, and then we're gonna have this color right over here. All right, so this is what our block is going to look like. The reason why I wanted to press my seam open on some of the segment is because these right here are going to meet, and then some of this right here are going to meet. They already pressed open, I shouldn't have a problem, and these are pressed the opposite direction, so that shouldn't be an issue. So that was why I was pressing some of it open. What I'm gonna do now is go ahead and piece my block, kind of like a 4 patch. And I'm just gonna match up my seams. For this middle part, I'm just going to press open, pin, and I'm going to work my way out and pin. This is what my block looked like this month, and this is the substitution that I made. So this is what the block looks like. It has pinwheel in the middle, and I opted not to do that. I wanted to just showcase this right here. This is the Full Moon Forest 2. I just kind of fuzzy cut all of the motif and put it in this block, and which will make my block very directional, okay? And is it perfect? No. Is it done? Yes. So by the time this quilt is done and put together and quilted, all the imperfection will almost be in existence because you will not see it. Right now, I can see all the imperfection. My points don't exactly match up. And am I going to rip it out and sew it again? No. So I'm giving myself some grace in this block. It's not all perfect, but I have it done and it is pretty. That's all I care about. It's pretty. So with that said, my block number 5 is done and completed. I hope you guys are having a great day. And don't forget to subscribe down below. And I'd love to see you in my next video. Bye.